Christianity is practiced by over 2.4 billion people, and 31% of the world's population is Christian. And no, we are not all the same. There are several branches of the Christian Church, and we refer to those branches as denominations. And if you're thinking Catholics and Protestants, well, you've forgotten about Eastern Orthodoxy, Evangelicanism, Oriental Orthodoxy, Assyrians, and of course, Restorationism. And that's all okay because this video is a learning experience, and I'm going to be talking about all the differences in early Christianity and how we got to where we are today with all the differing denominations, and I'm guessing it's an interesting history, one that maybe every Christian should know. Christianity itself is one of three religions referred to as Abrahamic religions, a religion derived from Abraham, who is considered the father of not only Christianity, but Islam and Judaism as well. Of course, today there's a vast ocean between what we know as Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And how that happened is a fascinating topic, but it's a topic for another video because in this video, I'm only looking at the splits in Christianity itself. And one of the first splits in Christianity, but not the very first, is known as the Great Schism. Now, a schism is defined as a division of people based upon beliefs, and this division was between the Greek Orthodoxy and the Catholic Church. But one can't talk about why this split occurred without understanding the Christian world prior to the year of 1094, the year the Great Schism occurred. Christianity at the turn of the 1st century was composed of a lot of different divisions, from Gnosticism to Adoptism, with Arianism and Montanism thrown in. And add into that the Eastern Church was rooted in Greek philosophy and the Western Church had its roots in Roman law. There were also differences in how the Church itself is viewed and structured. All in all, there were theological disagreements between the Eastern and Western Church as well, with constant power struggles between the Pope and the Eastern Church, and of course there were also a lot of cultural differences. Thus, the Great Schism is a permanent division that we have today, with both having their distinctive Christian traditions, practices, and leadership structure. With the Church in the West being led by the Pope and becoming what we know today as a Catholic faith, and so you know in the East, their leader is known as the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople. And now I'm going to blow your mind, because there's another Christian church that actually has been around since the apostolic age, meaning the church traces its origins back to the time of the apostles in the 1st century, and that is the Oriental Orthodox Church. And they actually broke with the Catholic Church in the 5th century, around 451 AD, 500 years before the Great Schism. Their sphere of influence was Egypt, India, and I think Ethiopia. Now, I haven't touched on the reasons for these splits, but from what I gather, they were all due to different beliefs as to who Jesus was. Was he divine and human, or just human, or more God than human, or more human than divine? Yet the Oriental Orthodox Church wasn't the first to break away. That honor goes to the Assyrian Church, and they did so just a couple of quick decades before the Oriental Church. Located in what we know as Mesopotamia, when the church came under Persian rule, they wanted to make sure their new rulers didn't question their loyalty. By the time of the Great Schism in 1094, Christianity had been in flux for over 1,000 years, and while we might recognize that flux and even understand the reasons behind it, the bottom line is a lot of cultures had their own version of Jesus. And that belief system, that cultural belief system, is what led to the split in what was a universal Catholic Church. Now, for a little clarification, because if you were expecting this video to be about how the Protestant reformations occurred, or why I'm a Methodist and not Catholic, well, let me say this. You gain a much better understanding of where we are today with Christianity, with Catholicism, by understanding of how the church came to be. Or should I say how the churches came to be? Because there is more than one Christian church, and those churches, like the world today, are divided between East and West. Because that's what belief does when it comes to religion. It often divides people. Okay, I got a little snarky there with that bit about religion dividing people, and I apologize for that, because you know what? While I know that religion has divided people, it's also brought them together, especially when it comes to communities, local communities like the one I live in. So, you know what? This was an interesting video, and I like videos when I learn something. Like I always knew the early Christian church was all over the place. I knew that, but I never had names to associate or locations to associate with any of them, so that was kind of neat to learn. Other than that, you know, yeah, when it comes to religion, I just scratch my head so often. I mean, because my main problem with religion is that it's not based in human reality. And I'm sorry. Let me explain. Religion is comprised of what we want the best of humanity to be. You know, respect for each other, treating people with compassion, treating or helping the poor and those who are less fortunate. I mean, none of that. You take the most Christian person, the Catholic Church doesn't even do that. I mean, they try to, and they like to tout their, but they've got billions of dollars. They could feed everybody in the world if they wanted to, or actually make a dent in it. And most governments could too. You know, and that's the thing about the government here in the States and about the far right, you know. Oh, we're all this religious shit, but when it comes right down to it, yeah, it just makes me want to do more and more shots of tequila like this one. Yeah, out of here. Love you. Thanks for watching.